Welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments, but before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact, we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises, that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Welcome, my friends. Thanks for being here. And anytime we start something like this, in this case, a Kundalini Yoga experience, a practice, a little journey to help us feel good, to help us have good vitality in our bodies, help us feel happy in our hearts, clear in our minds. That's kind of how I feel. Sometimes we think happy in the mind, and true, but I think happy in the mind comes from happy in the heart, and then also some sense of clarity in the mind. Of course, they work together. And the great thing about yoga practices are that you can actually use your body and your breath and those types of techniques to help happiness of the heart, happiness of the mind. Otherwise, we're left to kind of our own inner world of thinking and rationalizing and philosophizing, which all of that's part of life and can be great, but sometimes it's good just to make the adjustment in the body to bring up the vitality so that I feel more myself. And when I feel more myself, things tend to work out pretty well. I think you would say you find the same is true. The beautiful thing about yoga is that at its center is that this is not self-improvement. This is saying you're already an intelligent person. You're already you have this body-mind electromagnetic field organism. That's not esoteric. That's not weird. That's not really that far out. If you were to study the human being like we would in a biology class, you would definitely see that whatever this body, mind, electric type of organism is very much that. It's an organism. It's some kind of like one living vehicle. It's almost like an instrument. It's not just dense tissue layers. It has a subtlety. There's even electricity moving through your nervous system right now. It's incredible, but we're normalized to it, of course, because this is our home right now, is this human body each of us have. And so it's not you're messed up and you need to improve. It's actually you're this profound intelligence, but this instrument needs tuning so that real deeper intelligence, and the deepest intelligence is the love of the heart. When that profound intelligence is kind of bioavailable to our experience, life is magical. Life is a joy. And even though if sometimes we're suffering tremendously, we don't have to lose track of that joy. We don't have to lose track of that kind of deeper essence of what we are. So yoga practice, not only is it making the body have more vitality, helping the organs and the tissue systems of the blood and the bone and the fat tissue and the nervous system, the marrow, all of the various organs and the liver and the lungs and the heart muscle. Not only is it giving kind of like a helpful vitality to the physical systems, it's helping to do what we could think of as like concentrating our life force. What if you're going to the acupuncturist, like I do every other week or so, I try to. And they put the little needles in, and you walk out of there and it's like, wow, you feel so good. And this is just like these little needles going in, because that's at the level of the organism that the acupuncture is working on, is the chi. And this is what the same thing the yogis are working on, is what the prana is what it's called in India. Chi is what it's called. Everywhere around the world, all the indigenous cultures have their name for it. But it's more of a subtle energy. It's not physical. We don't yet detect it with our microscopes. But it's absolutely experiential, so it's not like you just believe it there just blindly. No, this is something we can experience immediately in the body. This is something that we can work with. And the basic idea is the chi, the life force, is the bridge between the mind and the body. And so if instead of focusing on how do I fix myself or improve myself, in this case, just at least for a little bit of time while we're doing these exercises together, if we can focus on, let me see if I can work with my life force. Let me see if I can use my body and use my breath to bring the mind into some type of a more kind of powerful centeredness. I think sometimes people think about meditation or yoga and they'll think like mindfulness and they'll think calm and peace, and absolutely calm and peace, but there's also power in that. And I think that's important to also acknowledge, because why? Because most of the time all of our energy of our life is worrying about this, it's worrying about that, or it's feeling dragged down by some sort of depression we're experiencing and feeling. So when either the depression can be lifted up a little bit, we're not talking about no permanent fixes here. We're talking about just today, can we feel a little more uplifted? Or if they're worrying anxiousness, can we feel a little more like less worrying and more enjoying? Because there are things always to be enjoyed, and we don't have to, rob ourselves of enjoyment because everything is not flowing as perfectly as we would like it to. You see? But sometimes that's, all right, theoretically that all makes sense, but can I actually embody and feel that? There's where the practices come in handy. So what we're doing today is a little journey together. I think you're going to love it. We're going to move the body, we're going to move the breath, and I think you'll see how all this kind of comes together quite nicely so that we can feel deeply, ourselves. Good sense of purpose. Not purpose in terms of career. Purpose of you feel There's a purposefulness to your life that you can feel and that you can live your life through. And it'll come through in the conversations you're having with people, because you start to enjoy the conversations more. You'll start to be more present for the ones that do come. And you'll start to also notice the ones that are non-important and let me keep it moving. Because that's what concentrated life force gives you. It gives you that sense of, I kind of know what I'm about. And so when I have a sense of what my life is about. I may not know how to explain it. I may not know what any is around the corner, but I can feel what it is. And so then it kind of helps direct my life. It almost acts like an internal GPS system for us. And everybody has this. It's nothing that I have special. This is human stuff. This is called our intuitive heart, our intuitive mind. That's what Kundalini Yoga is so fantastic at developing in a person. And that's why we're doing this. And that's why we created the 6-week journey into this stuff, not so you can just learn a discipline and learn a new techniques and practices, but so that you can actually go through that intuitive blossoming. And that, because even just doing it today, we'll feel definite upliftment. We'll feel definite sense of clarity. But then when you put that into some sort of a consistency over, say, a period of like 6 weeks, that's more of a commitment that then you can feel very realistically that these things that I'm talking about can absolutely blossom in your life even the more. And so this is the basic idea. So we try it. To start, come sitting up tall like this. Hands come Gyan Mudra, index finger to thumb, and palms are facing up. And just for a few moments, see if you can do this. Inhale, and through the nose. Just with the breath through the nose. See if you can put your breath in that rhythm just for another 30 seconds maybe. An exhale and an inhale that are equal in their strength. Focus on the exhale like this. Close your eyes, last few moments. Now through your nose, a very deep inhale. And keep your breath in for just a moment. Through your nose, exhale. Fantastic. And this is the basic idea we're going to be using for all these exercises that we're going to be doing. During the exercise, your focal point, the anchor for your mind, because the mind's going to try to go this way and the mind's going to try to go that way. That doesn't mean you're not doing it right or you're not good at it. That's what it does for everyone at first, until it starts to settle. So the anchor point is your breath. In that case, I'm paying attention to my breath. If I'm new to that, I have to pay attention to it just to be able to know how to do it. But after a while, it's not hard. Then the practice becomes, can you keep the mind concentrated on the feel of the breath, the sound of the breath, and the rhythm? That becomes your meditation that starts to concentrate your life force. You'll see what the effect is. A different type of clarity. So then at the end of every one of these exercises, it's an inhale deeply. Even if the mind was all over the place the entire exercise, at that moment, even for 10, 15 seconds, inhale deeply. And you just say, oh, my mind, relax. And just for a few seconds, try to be still, spacious, more like emptied. Like you're just a musical instrument that is being tuned. How are you being tuned? By inhaling, suspending the breath, and allow the intelligence of the life force, the chi, to animate in you. Less with us trying to make something happen, wondering if I'm doing it right. All the thinking. It's just saying, my mind, give it a rest, 15 seconds. We're going to feel good. Let the life force take care of things. After all, it's what grew you in your mother's womb. Who did that job? It's what's beating your heart already. It's not like some exotic thing. It's the very thing that keeps you alive. When the life force is gone, you ever felt a dead body? It's heavy. It's hard to pick it up. Even your sweet little dog. Have you ever had to do that? Bury a dog? I have. Heartbreaking. The body, that life force is no longer in that body. It's magical, actually. And so this is not a scary, terrible thing. It's actually quite a beautiful thing, that there is something else going on here. There is a life force. And that's why the yogis say, all death is a door. Death is a door. Say birth is a door and death is a door. This is not an ending point. So what happens in between? This is called our life. And it has a journey to it. It has a purposefulness to it, and it's precious. Yoga helps you remember that it's precious and to feel it, yeah? So your hands will be on your ankles or shins, like this. And what we're going to be doing is as the kind of sit, you want to use a cushion so you can be on your sit bones. And anything, you pillow off your couch, it doesn't matter at first. Chest today is about just having an experience. Chest will be lifted, and as we inhale, the sternum lifts up with the chin just ever so slightly tucked in. So it's an inhale lifting through the chest. It's not just a back and forth. They're called spinal flex, but it's not back and forth. There's a lift to it. So it's like you're lifting your sternum. So check it out. We'll do it together. Be like sat, sat, my breath and give it a little strength. Now give the breath some depth, some strength of rhythm, but simultaneously try to keep your face muscles relaxed, and that'll help keep your mind relaxed. When you're first learning it all, it's a little bit clumsy, but just wait till you get the hang of it. Then it's a little bit fun. It's enlivening. It's deep. It's intuitive. It's sensual. It's artistic. Now you're getting to just put your mind into the rhythm of your breath and to not have any other care. That's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. It's an empowerment. It's saying, oh, my mind, you're not in charge. There's something else in charge here. Deeper the breath. Good, another 30 seconds. See if you can keep that rhythm. I told you the mind will go this way and that way. Keep bringing it back to the breath. Back to the music. Back to the rhythm. Uplifting your whole inner energy. Your body tissues. Your organ tissues. Using the healing current of the breath. Just a few moments, we're going to inhale we inhale, just give me 15 seconds or so of spacious stillness, keeping the breath in, but relaxing the upper body. Inhale deep. Suspend the breath in, relaxed of the mind. Exhale. Fantastic. Now the next time we do that, you'll lift up through your pelvic floor. If you work out, you know how to lift up through your pelvic floor. If you don't, then this is something we'll develop. There's nothing better in the body you can develop than core strength in so many facets of our life. But yoga relies on it. Kundalini yoga practice relies on the ability to lift your core, your pelvic floor, rectum area, perineum, sex organ area, and then also the navel point. That's just underneath your belly button. First lift your pelvic floor, then lift up the abdomen just underneath your belly button. See if you can do that. Inhale. Suspend the breath, pelvic floor, rectum, sex organ area, and then under your belly button, draw that up and in if you can, and then relax. It takes a little practice, but in no time you'll be able to do that. And that's how you'll be able to take your chi and you'll help to kind of lift it into the body, lift it into the center of yourself, into what they call, the yogis call, your central channel. That's how you create vitality, deeper vitality. Vitality you can't get just from like eating good food. That's important too, but this is a type of inner vitality that you then take from that good food you ate, from those good herbs you take, from all the things that you do, and then you kind of make it even more usable by putting the chi in the center of the nervous system. Central nervous system gets strong, revitalization occurs. It's the science. Hands will come like this, fingers in front, thumbs in the back, but then this becomes the art. You're gonna inhale left, then you're gonna exhale right, like. Now the art is put your breath into the rhythm. And make a kind of deeply rhythmic breath. There's a sense that it kind of purifies the heaviness, the sluggishness, but it also centers and calms the nervousness, the worriedness. Another 20 seconds. Keep going. Into the center now, your deepest inhale. Suspend the breath in. Lift through that pelvic floor. Navel is mulabandha. Soften the chest. Relaxed and spacious of the mind. Then exhale. It's fantastic. And trust me, if like all of that isn't quite landing for you yet, it will. It will. With just a few tries at this stuff, it starts to fall into place. And say, I get it. Often at first we're just in a certain way trying too hard, because so much of this is about relaxing into a space. But when you're first learning the physical techniques, it's harder to relax into that space. That's why my emphasis is always fundamentals. This is a fundamentals class, but every class I teach is a fundamentals class, because I always find if you go really deeply into the fundamentals of something, that's how you go deeply into it, period. By keeping it simple, by not being overly complicated, and especially with a yogic system where really we're trying to use it in the first place to feel happy, to feel ourselves, to feel our sense of prosperity, our sense of purposefulness. So it doesn't need overly complicated techniques. It doesn't need overly complicated philosophy. But some of that is helpful because it allows us to unravel the conditions of the mind that are causing us to be miserable. And so we do go in there with the wisdom sword. and using our ability to kind of look at our mind, look at its tendencies, and be able to see that without like shaming ourselves or guilting ourselves, and uplift ourselves instead. That energy will go one of two ways. You know, it goes into commotion, or it goes into more of a devotion, which just means a love, a self-love. And you feel like, I'm part of something. There's something mysterious here. There's something wonderful here. This whole thing has a baby is born. You don't have to deny the wonder of that. Everybody's crying, they're so happy. As somebody passes away, everybody's crying, they're so sad. What happens in between? That's the life. This is what Kundalini Yoga is for. Unravel that mystery. Yeah, hands will be on your knees, and it'll be like, just a few more of these. Every exhale, just let the shoulders release. These are preliminary energization opening exercises that helps the chi flow more easily in the body, and particularly in the spinal part of the body. So now that upper back stress, every exhale, just let the shoulder blades release. Inhale, squeeze up like this. Squeeze out some tension and release. Bravo. Take your legs stretched out wide like this. Just do your best. Modify anything you need to. Flex the feet, energy into your toes. Legs are nice and engaged. Inhale, center. To your left, exhale down. Don't worry about touching your toes if that's not what your body can do. Just open up a little bit. Every inhale, fill the lungs. Every exhale, fold down to kind of give a nice opening to the life nerve, the sciatic. But don't be overly aggressive. Don't worry about how far you're stretching. It doesn't matter. That'll open naturally with just a little practice. It's not the important thing here. Beautiful. Every inhale, fill your lungs. This yoga practice is not primarily flexibility. It is flexibility, but it's equally strength. It's equally becoming strong as much as you're becoming flexible. To the center, inhale deeply, and then just gently fold forward for a few moments. Keep your feet flexed if you can, but now relax your groin area. Make your breath long, slow, and deep. Try to extend out through your heart. Release your shoulder blades. Tuck your chin in a little bit. And relax. Shake your legs out. Go again. So remember the first thing we did? Index finger to thumb, palms facing up. That's called Gyan Mudra, wisdom seal. And Jupiter finger connects to the thumb. You're going to take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Now listen, inhale. Suspend the breath, and become relaxed and spacious of mind, and then exhale. You see, with this breath, it need not be aggressive. What you're working towards, it comes like I can do it in a very relaxed way, but that takes a little practice. At first, you're going to have to give it something, give it a little punch in order to get the breath rhythm. So in that case, you can focus on the exhale. You'll learn all of this, but for now, just give it your best shot. Inhale deeply and go. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath in for a moment. Then exhale. Bravo. Feeling okay? Inhale again deeply. Fully exhale. Inhale deeply. Fully exhale. Inhale deeply. Now suspend your breath. Lift through your pelvic floor. Draw your navel, abdomen under your belly button. Up and in. Soften your heart. And bring your mind relaxed. Exhale. It's just causing the conditions for the prana to be able to center itself. And then from there, the mind will naturally relax and become more intuitive. The mind already is intuitive in its innate state. We need that relaxation of the nervous system to occur so the intuition can flow with greater ease. Take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Inhale deep. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. And exhale. Okay, we're doing a series of 3 exercises that'll be utilizing this breath. And just do your best, modify as you need to. The first exercise and the second exercise are very much kind of activating the chi, the prana at your navel area, and helping to alleviate the stress in the lower digestive area, which accumulates for everyone. That's why in Ayurveda, the great healing system of ancient India, that large intestine area is considered the seat of vata, or the seat of really the main dis-ease causing factor of the body and the mind. So, by starting to alleviate some of the accumulated tension in those areas, which we don't even notice, because often we don't notice, because below your diaphragm is really the realm of the unconscious. It's the realm of what the yogis call the lower triangle, the first, second, and third chakras. So you have an autonomic nervous system that's beating your heart, it's digesting your food. You're not having to think about all of that stuff. But that stuff does need taken care of if we expect to maintain great vitality in our life. So this is what these things work on when you're not only working with, say, an exercise, which will strengthen your abdomen, strengthen your core, which we'll be doing. It's a little bit difficult, takes a little bit of practice, but these are the types of exercises I want to work with you on over the next several weeks. today, get a feel for it. Come onto your backs. Okay, your legs will be together, and Nima can demonstrate the stretch pose, what it'll look like. The legs and the head come up about 6 to 12 inches. The toes are pointed and the eyes are on the toes. And if possible, you lift up through your pelvic floor. And then we're going to begin that like a... Okay, thank you, Nima. And also, if it's straining your lower back, put your hands under your butt, palms facing down, and do the exercise like that. We're going 60 seconds in just a moment. At any point you get straining yourself, just come out of the posture, and when you can begin again, begin again. Okay? And in no time, with a little practice, 60 seconds is not a problem. But what it will do for your energy and how your energy feels on a daily basis is beyond worth the effort that it takes to kind of master this stretch pose. Take a deep inhalation and then fully exhale. And one more time, deep inhalation. Fully exhale. Come into the position, inhale deeply. And powerful breath. Five seconds. Now deeper the breathing. And move the navel point. Beautiful. Inhale very deep. Hold the posture. Draw the pelvic floor in and the navel underneath your belly button. Deep in, deeper, deep in. And relax. Wow, fantastic. It's just a minute of your day, but probably more than most things I do every day, it impacts in a positive way all the other minutes of my day, this little bit of stretch pose. But I like this whole 3-part series. It's just an everyday little tune-up. And it's, what does it take? Less than 10 minutes. Hug the knees to the chest and bring the nose up towards the knees. Relax your shoulder blades down. Right? Take a deep inhalation. But then exhale, relax your shoulder blades down. Inhale deep. Same breath. Just a little bit of time here. Seconds. Good. Close the eyes down. Keep going. Inhale deeply. Squeeze up, and relax. Exhale. And just for a few moments, relax all the way down. That's very nice. That exercise alleviates that accumulated vata, accumulated kind of disorientation or kind of non-intelligence. It's non-rhythmic, that energy of when the chi is a bit kind of disturbed. And that's natural. We all have a certain amount of kind of disturbed chi because we live on planet Earth and we have all sorts of stresses and traumas and life experiences. So we're not obsessing over it. but we're just gently taking care of ourselves and being wise in how we do it. Hug the knees back into the chest, and then you're gonna rock and roll a few times and come up. In this next exercise, what you're gonna be doing is your thumbs are out like this, and the fingers are in. So the thumbs are out, and the pads of your fingertips connect to the pads of your palms like you're connecting in an electrical circuit. Okay? Yeah. Okay, then you bring them up to 60 degrees, and you release your shoulder blades down. You lift up through your heart and chest if you can. And if possible, it's a gentle lift of the pelvic floor. And you inhale deep. And exhale. Extend through your arms. Release through your shoulder blades. Inhale. There comes a certain point in the kriya, in the exercise, where it's pressuring you. You may not feel like you can keep going. Now go deeper into the breath when this occurs. And it kind of hits a threshold point in the angles of the arms with the rhythm of the breath. And if you can bring your inner gaze into the space of the pituitary, intuitive third eye. This is how the alchemy works. Where your attention goes, your life force flows. So seeing if you can bring your inner awareness into that area around where the root of the nose meets the skull bone, between the two eyebrows. See if you can relax your inner gaze at that area. As you continue for the final 60 seconds. See if you can stay the course. Allow it to open you. Allow it to kind of tap a deeper reservoir of inner vitality.
And all I've been needing to. How can I know something else is mine? When all of my thoughts are you.
Now last little bit, charging the entire energy system with your breath. Inhale deeply. And bring your thumb tips touching together above the head. Open your fingers, stretch them wide. Touch the ceiling with your fingertips. Release the shoulders and touch the ceiling. Inhale some more. Stretch up, up, up. And now exhale. Relax and just let the arms sweep. And just for a short moment, just let the breath flow naturally. Let the mind be in its nice, relaxed, meditative mode. And keep the body just both still and relaxed. For the next 30 seconds or so. Not a care. Thoughts come, let them come, and let them keep going just like clouds passing through the sky. And inhale deeply. And just come onto your back. And for just about 4 or 5 minutes, please just relax onto your back. If you can relax your mind some by just relaxing your jaw, relax your tongue. And just let the effects of those exercises just help integrate into the body, help to revitalize the system by you just getting out of the way. Relax and let the sounds just begin to kind of wash over you. Inhale. Exhale. Move your fingers and toes. Rub your palms together, make a little heat. And rub the soles of your feet together, make a little heat. And stretch your arms over your head and point through your toes, extend through your toes, extend through your fingertips, extend through your spine. Then relax, and then if you can cat stretch to each side, just like so. And the other side. Okay, my friends, hug your knees to your chest and rock a couple of times first. And here's the best part, last few minutes of our journey. This is always, for me, where like the nectar is. To bring oneself and to kind of amplify the meditative space. It's where the magic is. So, in this case, all we're going to do is what's called this left hand on your heart center and right hand just like this. Now here's the deal, it's an easy enough posture. Some of the Kundalini yoga postures for the meditation's not as easy. They'll put you under more pressure. If the arms are up here, it's more gravity you have to deal with. This one, not much difficult in terms of the physical. But the idea, though, is that throughout this meditation, you keep your body as perfectly still as you can. The thing that is moving, though, is the breath current. So what we're going to be doing in this position is taking a very deep inhalation. Suspend the breath in for as long as possible. And then you're going to exhale. Push all the breath out. And then you keep the breath out as long as possible. Eyes closed down, inhaling deeply. And when you suspend the breath in, then you lift through your chest, lift through your sternum. And holding the posture very beautifully, like so. A little bit of your pelvic floor is now lifted too. Then when you need to exhale, don't get to the point where you're gasping. Just when you need to exhale, exhale all the breath out through the nose. Push all the breath out and keep it out for a moment. Not till you're gasping, but it'll make a little uncomfortable, and then inhale. Suspend the breath in, keeping the breath locked in, but the whole torso is relaxed and the heart is softened, although the sternum is lifted. The mind comes relaxed, and then through the nose you exhale. Push all the breath out, 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 till there's no breath left. And then you lift a bit through your pelvic floor, you suspend the breath out, and inhaling, and continue exactly like this for the next few minutes. To do it really requires your attention, but then the mind and the subconscious is going to start to be triggered, and it will challenge your ability to maintain the attention on the breath process. It might become spacey. That's no problem. Just as every time you remember, bring it back. Hold this posture so like beautifully. It has a regal feel, because that's what you are, you know. This life is a precious thing. It's called tuning its instrument. Be super still and work with the breath. Eyes closed down, and bring the inner gaze into the area where the root of your nose meets your skull bone, third eye gaze. And see if you can just relax the gaze into that area. And it allows the mind to be more happy, to become more blissful, allows the heart to kind of open air petals and feel the joy once again. Suspending into a open, relaxed spaciousness, and then exhaling, pushing the breath all the way out, and endeavoring then to dwell into a beautiful spaciousness and continue. And the thoughts that they come, emotions will come, just like clouds coming and going, or even maybe storms coming but also going, not grasping onto anything, not pushing anything away, but anchoring ourselves back and back into the breath, the suspension, the feel, the vibe, the sound. Last little stretch here. Bring in your awareness back into the focal points, the breath, the meditative gaze. And see if you can just be steady. For only a couple of more minutes. And then hold the posture and through your nose fully exhale. Now inhale please very deeply. Suspend the breath, lift through your pelvic floor. Now squeeze your spine. Squeeze the muscles around your spine. And hold the posture through the nose, exhale. Inhale deeply. Keep the breath in, lift through the rectum, sex organ area, navel, up and in. And then tighten the muscles around the spine. Deeply. And through your nose, exhale. Now this time, very deeply through your nose, inhale. And suspend the breath in. Lift through the chest. Third eye gaze. Spacious. Totally still. Hold the position through your nose. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Suspension. And relax. Just relax for a moment into kind of a meditative zone, meditative feel. Now just take a moment just to kind of feel into your heart and feel into what is really most important in your life right now for you, how you feel in your heart and your mind. And then just see and feel if you can just kind of bring some of this vitality to it. It's like meditative vitality, where you can recalibrate your inner relationship towards it. And that does affect the outer experience of it. Is more love in my life, more prosperity, more happiness. Is maybe the grieving that is happening and really wants to happen and needs to happen, whatever it may be, you know. But it's loving ourselves deeply enough so we have the courage to take care of ourselves so that we can also then get in the river stream of the real purposefulness of our life. Inhale. Take your arms up like this and shake them a little bit. You know, just kind of circulate the energy around and relax. You see what I mean? That's the basic idea, is that we can just take a little bit of time to, I think of it, bypass the mind and all the mental activities, and you have, it's kind of creating a boundary with your own mind yoga practice, where you're saying, okay, for this period of time, and it's a limited period of time, I'm going to be doing this for this much time, and in this space, this is when my intuition is being worked on. This is when my inner vitality is being worked on. Therefore, I need the other parts of my mind that are really active all the rest of the day when we're taking care of our things and we're doing our routines. But during this time, something else is being nurtured, and really, in a certain way, it's kind of the most important parts of ourselves. It's our heart, it's our mind. And at the end of the day and at the end of this thing, that's what we have, and that's what we go forth with. And so, yes, it makes sense. Brush your teeth, take a shower, take care of the body. But what about these other subtle parts of us that are the more long-lasting parts of us? Relationships come, relationships go. You're always there with your own heart. You're always there with your own mind. Money comes, money goes. You're always there. You're young, you get older, you get older, you get older until you shed this thing. But something remains. What is that special something, that mysteriousness of our heart, our mind? And so when we live life, and just to even reflect on that, because that is also part of yoga, is to recognize like what is real and what is actually not real. What is just relatively real? Things that are relatively real is the status of our relationships. You know, I'm married, I'm not married. I'm employed, I'm not employed. I'm this, I'm not, I'm that. All those things change. I'm young, I'm not young. I'm feeling good, I'm not feeling good. All those things are always changing. But there's a something in the center of this all that doesn't really change. And Kundalini yoga practice helps us to get a more consistent experience of that something, which is really the foundation of real inner confidence. And when I got that real inner confidence, and it's not based upon those types of status relativities, things that come and go, having a good day, not having a good day. I feel confident on both a good day and a bad day. But of course we have our sensitive emotions, and sometimes some days we're going to feel more emotional, sometimes we're going to feel down. We're not saying this is not some cure-all for being a human, but this is about the blossoming of being a human. It's not denying the human parts of it, it's full embracive. This isn't a yoga that's saying, you know, renunciate your life and become a spiritual person. You already are a spiritual person. What is this whole thing even? You know, what is not spiritual? Have you looked outside and watched the sun come up ever? You know, and watch the sunset. Happens every day, so we take it for granted. But it's magnificent every single time. And so it's the same way in like having a way to like live your life from that space. And it's practical for any type of human being. So that's why we created this thing, this Kundalini. This is a course of really what we call the essentials or the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are really the backbone of all of it. You learn this stuff, and then this is the Life Force Academy course that really unpacks Kundalini yoga from the ground up for any person who would like to do it in any walk of life. And both perfect for new beginners, but also excellent for people who have quite a bit of experience but want to go deeper into it. Because the way we go deeper into it is not by learning lots and lots of extra things necessarily, but it's being able to get deeper into the fundamentals of things so you can work with your essential energy in more and more refined ways. So that's what's beautiful about it, and that's why in any evening when we're doing a live stream here in the Life Force Academy, anybody can jump into that, whether they've been doing it for 20-something years or whether it's their first time, because it just kind of meets you where you're at. And so like today, fundamentals, this would be considered a very like fundamental little Kundalini yoga class. I went very deep into it. It did not feel boring or beginners to me. It felt rich. And that's the beautiful part of the journey. And so I created this in like 6 primary modules that are designed to do over a period of 6 weeks. But some of you will move a little quicker than that, and that's totally fine. You do this course, anything else you do with us, Life Force Academy, you're going to be super solid. You're going to not only, anybody can do anything with Life Force Academy and be solid, but you're going to have fundamentals and foundational stuff in here that's just you're going to know how to make sense of it all at a different level. And that's what I love this course. The first module is called Body Alchemy. It takes you through all the principles of it. The second module is called Ancient Breathwork Practice. So basically the main pillars of Kundalini Yoga, in terms of just the basic practice of it. You have the body, you have the breath, and you have the mind. That's what you've got. You got the body, breath, and mind. That's what you have to work with. Now, inside of this thing, there's just literally quadrillions of things happening in the body at any given moment. That's not like, I'm not saying quadrillions as in like gazillions. I sometimes say gazillions, meaning like infinite. But quadrillion is that's what scientists believe is the amount of physiological processes that are happening at any given moment in the body. They used to think it was in the trillions. Now I'm thinking that. So, scientists always come up with these numbers. In other words, like it's infinitely complex. The physical and everything. Are you taking care of your digestion? Who's beating your heart for you? And all these things. And there's so many things it's amazing that these things work as well as they do when you consider the amount that can go wrong. But there's some other greater intelligence that is doing this thing. What have you seen, like these creatures under the oceans, or these? We live here in the Sierra Nevada foothills of Northern California, and you just go outside, and these trees are magnificent. We're very blessed and fortunate to be living amongst the trees, and there's some other intelligence that takes care of all of this. If you just take a moment to hang out in nature, it doesn't take much time to recognize that. You don't need a belief system or an ideology or some religion. Okay, this is not a religion. This is not even an ideology. This is an experiential system of seeing if you can keep your instrument well tuned and helping it to produce more happiness, more sense of purposefulness, better relationships. You won't need to know is it working or it's not working. You'll be able to know for yourself based on your personal experience. It won't be like blind belief into anything. And so anyways, those are the three things we have to work with in terms of making bypassing the whole thinking mind for a little bit, creating space, use the body, the breath, and the mind. How do you use the body? With all the exercises. You put the breath together, and then you give the mind a projection. Sometimes that's using a mantra. Sometimes that's just putting the attention on the breath. Sometimes it's using a visualization, but it's giving the mind a conscious projection to help harness, concentrate your life force, therefore strengthen your magnetism and your ability to be effective in whatever it is you're trying to be effective at in your life. So that's what, this is helping me or it's not helping me, but it's not a belief system. It has philosophy that helps us to understand the effectiveness of it, but at the end of the day, it's experiential. And we verify for ourselves whether it's helping us or not helping us. And it's very easy to do that. And so when you put the body, the exercises, the breath, and the mind work all together, it's not like we're just doing breath work, but it's a sophisticated system that goes back thousands of years. That's developed with a profound understanding of the subtle anatomy of the human organism. This is the great gift of the yogis to the world. Even Carl Jung, back towards the later part of his life, he was studying with the yogis of India, and it very much influenced our modern day understanding of psychology. And even he said, well, we have to take this very slowly. He's like, these yogis, and you can go online, or you can go, when I was in college, I went into the library at the university I was going to in Tennessee, and I checked out the book because I was looking for Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga, the only book in the library on Kundalini Yoga was by C.J. Jung. And it's not teaching you these exercises, of course, because he said we have to take this very slowly because we don't have the experiential system that kind of articulates it to us, that reveals it to it, because that's why Kundalini Yoga is quote unquote secret, because the real secrets are not secrets because anybody's keeping them from anyone else, although that does happen, but that's more of like manipulation stuff. Secrets, the real secrets are secrets because they take experience to understand what the heck they're talking about. You have to make it come alive inside you via your own interpersonal experience. That's what's magical about it, actually, but it's not magical as in supernatural. It's actually kind of like supremely natural. It's real natural. It's experiencing the supreme naturalness of what you actually are, and uncovering that. And that's a never-ending journey. It's always a blossoming. It's not getting to some like, oh, I hit the plateau of enlightenment. We don't think about it like that. We think of it as a ever blossoming into more and more enlightenment, into more and more loving compassion, wisdom, joy, wonderfulness. And that in that type of wonderfulness, though, is encompassed in both the suffering and the pleasures, in both the good times and the bad times. It's not this fluffy thing that's only going to work when you're feeling good. But in fact, when you're feeling lousy, it sometimes works the best. And that's a treasure to have something like that. So the third module is called sound medicine, and that's a huge part of giving the mind a positive projection. The mind's already using sound, but you're always chanting something. Question is, what are you chanting? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's a chronic anxiousness under the surface, which most of us have. It's no big deal. What's beautiful about it is if you realize that and you can change it, your life improves immediately. It takes work. I'm not saying it's like one thing and all of a sudden everything's better. But if you put in the work, your life improves immediately. Why? Because there's more vitality, life force, energy available to you, because it's no longer being drained by the subconscious/unconscious chronic worrying, chronic depressing. It's not saying we're going to never worry again. It's saying we're going to worry a lot less. And we're going to have a lot more fun because we're worrying a lot less. Same with it's the heaviness of depression. So that's what sound medicine, mantra, module 4 is called mastering your mind. And it will give you philosophical system to work with, but it's not super heady. It's understanding the anatomy of the psyche. You have a negative mind, you have a positive mind, you have the intuitive neutral mind. You have to have all of them. You can't just have one. For every negative, there's a positive. For every feminine energy, there's a masculine energy. For every up, there's a down. You can't have good without also evil. So this is the realm of relativity. That's why in these exercises you go inhale deep, suspend the breath, strengthen the neutral mind, the intuitive mind by just giving the polarities a rest for a moment. Yes, things are horrible. Yes, things are fantastic. But those are like waves in an ocean. What's underneath the ocean? That's the discovery of the yogi. And so then module 5 is the art of Kundalini meditation. It's building you fundamentals with each module. And it's not like each module is that separate from each other, because each module takes you into an experience of it. It's not just intellectual. It unpacks the principles, then it takes you into an experience of those principles that you've learned. And with every module, you bring along with you what you learned into the next one. So by the time we're here and we're talking about the art of Kundalini meditation, you'll really know what that means. And then module 6, Kriya and Tantra, weaving your sacred path. That's one of the definitions of the word Tantra, is to weave, to be able to weave a basket for yourself that holds your life energy, to weave a web that can hold all the ups and downs, all the goods and bads, all the sufferings and pleasures without losing your center of what you are. That's the art of Tantra and the art of Kundalini Yoga. So it's not just these exercises, that you see from afar or on Instagram or in some studio where you live. It's actually a practice of dharma. It's a practice of purposefulness. It's a practice of blossoming. Especially in the way we work with it in Life Force Academy, that's what the emphasis we put on. The other stuff are the tools, and the tools are magnificent. But the tools are just the tools at the end of the day. We're going to learn them, use them, they're techniques, but the real thing is to actually have a life of joy, to have a life of happiness, and to really feel like that's the total possibility and not just some elusive thing that may happen to you if everything goes right. Finally, you come across some money. Finally, you get the relationship you wanted. But you got the relationship you wanted, but then that relationship changed, remember? It was awesome right at the beginning. And then it changed, right? But then it can get more awesome. So I'm not saying like some dreary thing like all the relationships they're only temporarily going to be good. No. All those things can be long-term good, but the key piece to that is the long-term energy has to be there in each of us, in each of ourselves, so that we're not gripping onto those things in order to provide us a sense of happiness. See, when you got this centered inner vitality, doesn't mean we're not going to have all sorts of relationship and we're working through the emotions. We're human. But you have this centeredness there that allows you to perceive when your mind's tendency is gripping onto something. And you'll get it often even before someone else has to tell you. It's like, that doesn't feel good. It's all of our minds, we're interacting with each other, especially in our most important relationships, our love relationships, our family relationships. These are where the really kind of strong karmas of our life are. But in where the strong karmas of our life are also the catalyst that opens up the dharmas of our life, which is the purposefulness of our life. So it's magical science. And so now we've also included, those are the 6 primary modules of this course. But for those of you who join in now, we've added 4 bonus sessions to this course. The first one's astrology and Kundalini yoga, yogic astrology. And this is my favorite. And it's an introduction to it, but it'll give you, because Kundalini yoga does use the language of astrology in part to explain some of its principles. It's not planets outside of us kind of manipulating what's happening to us. No, the planets outside of us, that's an expression of nature and a way of kind of decoding the physics of nature. And if you can decode it in those subtle levels, is how, for instance, that when the tide is really high, that it's a kind of a strong energy. But when the tide is really low, it's a much more calm energy. We know that the moon controls the tides. We know that that our bodies are mostly made up of water. Does it make sense that the moon might have an influence? That's the simple thing. But then if the moon has an influence, might it make sense that also the sun does, and maybe even Venus and Mercury and Jupiter? But these are a way of understanding the inner landscape of the psyche and of your energy centers. It's not just some outer science. So that's why the Jupiter finger, the Saturn finger, the sun, and the pinky. But this gives you astrology and Kundalini yoga a solid introduction to real kind of Vedic yogic astrology. Bonus session number 2 is crafting your perfect practice. So it's taking everything you've learned and then how do you tailor it so it's going to work for you, whether you have 10 minutes a day or 2 hours a day. Then bonus session number 3 is sexuality and Kundalini yoga. Kundalini energy and sexual energy are an interwoven energy. But Kundalini, just because of that, doesn't mean Kundalini yoga is sexual in nature. It's like the whole organism, all of our life is creative in nature. This is why we have such a strong urge to create, such a strong merge, all types of animals. But in the human beings, this creative process is something that kind of in a certain way rules our life. And as they say in Ayurveda, is like life is wanting you to always to create something. So this energy is, of course, in our lives is actually quite rarely used to create another child. But that energy is one of the most powerful energies inside of us. And so it's learning to work with it in harmonious ways. It's not suppressing it. It's not saying do this sexually, do that sexually. It's actually just helping us tune into our own sense of sexuality, our own sense of creative energy, and how to work with it intelligently, not using anybody's ideologies, rules, or dogmas. It's using it in understanding the experiential way. Okay, and then bonus session 4 is healing through Kundalini yoga, how you use these same principles that you're using in the course, but use them in a healing context. Generally speaking, Kundalini yoga is already a healing context, but mostly what I'm using it for on a day-to-day basis and thinking about it is a blossoming context. It's a vitality context. But of course, there's many times in our life where we need healing, or people that we love can really use some healing, and Kundalini yoga meditations can be used very effectively for things like this. And one of the great famous meditations of Kundalini yoga that you'll learn in this course called Kirtan Kriya, double-blind studies at UCLA have shown how it heals and helps to reverse even Alzheimer's and dementia in the nervous system. Just a simple little thing. Done a few minutes a day. So that's beautiful. So you'll get to learn about all this stuff. And if you jump in the course, you get all the modules and the bonus sessions. The full price of the course, we have a new group joining in now. And the full price of the course is $550 for it. And you have access to it. You don't have to rely on your internet connection. You can download all the modules. Modules are provided to you in both a video and audio, so you can even listen to the teaching part of the modules if you'd like to, like while you're like taking the kids to school, walking the dog. So it's designed so it's really easy to use. You don't have to be technologically savvy or anything. It's beautifully done. It brings you into a really cool experience. And right now it's on sale with this group joining in. And so if you join now, it's only $249. So it's a really good deal. $550 is the regular price. And right now it's only $249. And there's also a payment plan if that makes it more feasible for you to do it right now. You just pay 3 payments of only $97 for the payment plan. And you can begin right immediately. Like I said, it's designed to where you do it over a 6-week period, like 1 module per week. If you want to move quicker, you're most welcome to move quicker. But a 6-week time is a nice time for metabolization. Even if you knocked out theoretically all the modules in like 10 days, good, you'll learn a lot of it, but there's not much time for metabolizing there. So you can move at any pace you like, but it's designed to go over 6 weeks. And there's also a bundle offer you'll see there on the website. And that gives you a whole year's access to our Life Force Academy membership. So for instance, every week, every Monday, we're streaming a new class. And this is our Life Force Academy studio in Nevada City. I hope you can visit sometime. But we're also everywhere. You know, we have members in over 60 countries around the world. And I'm often on the road and teaching different places, so keep in touch. It would be great to meet in person, but if you're a part of the Life Force Academy membership, we're doing live things most weeks. You get a whole library of these classes, and they're put together in different themes of a whole yoga class series for intuition, a whole yoga class series on I can't even remember them in the moment. Prosperity. There's more yoga classes in there than you'll be able to take. And the idea isn't to take them all, but it's like once a week, you want to do a full yoga class all year long. You will be able to do that in the Life Force Academy membership. And that's just one part of the Life Force Academy membership. You'll have power practice. Hey, I want to do this quick meditation for a deep rest before I go to bed. I want to do this series in the morning to energize. You just go to that power practice page, you choose the one you want. I have 10 minutes, boom, you push play. It takes you through it, and it not only teaches you how to do it, but it's going to give you good music, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be inspiring. And so you can learn all about the Life Force Academy membership. You can also be part of our group, where then you also can interact and connect with every other people around the world doing the same stuff, learning the same stuff. So there's a community aspect to it as well. We do different meditation challenges through the years. It's a lot of fun. And so that bundles, if you really feel like, all right, I want this year, for this next year, I can really do this stuff. It's a really reasonable deal if you look at it. So there's a bundle option there, and everything's on the page for you. And so, but the main course itself is what I really want to encourage you to do. We can get going pretty much right away with the first module this week. And it's a great deal right now. Everything's there. If you want to join, all you got to do is click on the page. That'll take you to our checkout page. It just takes maybe a couple minutes, and you'll be all set. If you have any questions, if our support team's fantastic, support@jaidevsingh.com, or just respond to any of the emails that we've sent you, and we'll get right back with you. And then also, if you get this course and for any reason decide it's not quite for me, if you let us know within 60 days, we always honor a full refund. So it's guaranteed like that. And we're trying to take all the obstacles off that in our power for you to be able to jump into this. If you want to do this, I want you to do this. I think you'll have an amazing experience. I think it'll be so worth it, so worth your time and energy. And I want to encourage you to join the course. So either way, thank you for being here. And let's seal this thing together to end our session. Thank you to all the Life Force Academy team who's helped make this happen. It takes a lot of work from a lot of people to make these things go. And grateful to everyone. Grateful to all of you for being here today. Hope you enjoyed. But as we end every session, is by kind of giving a sense of a good wish for our lives, a good wish also for the others of our lives. And take the hands into the prayer pose.
May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Thanks so much, my friends. Thanks for being here. Looking forward to doing this journey with many of you, and we'll get started soon. Okay, thank you, everybody.